Hey, Calm Crew! Welcome back to Calm English Company. I'm Lucy.
And I'm Tom. And today we are starting with a question. A real question that happened to me about 2 years ago. Lucy, set the scene for them.
Okay, Tom is sitting in a team meeting, 12 people around the table. His manager looks across and says, "And I want you to feel this moment." Tom, what do you think we should do here?
And nothing. Complete nothing. Like someone pulled the plug on my brain. There were 12 people, 12 pairs of eyes, and I just sat there and said, I kid you not. Yes.
Yes, that's it.
Yes. To an open question. What do you think we should do, Tom? Yes. And then I went bright red and looked at my notebook like it had the answers.
And the thing is, Tom knew exactly what he thought. He had an opinion. But in that moment, in English, under pressure, in front of people, his brain just shut the door.
And this happens. It happens to brilliant, intelligent, thoughtful people every single day. Not because they don't know the answer, but because they don't have the right words to buy the 5 seconds their brain needs to catch up.
Today, we're giving you those words, 5 of them. Polite, professional, powerful. And by the end of this episode, you will never say, yes, again.
Calm crew. If this has happened to you, comment right now. My brain froze too. Let's go.
Let's talk about why this happens, because understanding the why is the first step to fixing it. Tom, you want to take this?
Yeah, so first, this is not a language problem. I want to say that clearly. When your brain freezes under sudden pressure, that is a biology problem. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Here's a part of your brain called the amygdala. It's tiny, about the size of an almond, but it is incredibly powerful. And its only job is to protect you from threats.
Now, 1,000 years ago, a threat was a lion. Your amygdala would see the lion, send a signal, flood your body with adrenaline, and you would run or fight. Fast. No thinking required.
But your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a lion and 12 people waiting for you to speak in English.
So it does the same thing. You hear the question. The amygdala screams, "Danger!" Your heart rate shoots up. Adrenaline floods in. And here's the problem. Adrenaline is brilliant for running from lions, but terrible for forming complex sentences in a second language.
Scientists call this the amygdala hijack. Your emotional brain takes over from your thinking brain. And for English learners, it's even worse.
Why worse?
Because speaking in a second language already uses a huge amount of brain processing power. You're listening, translating, choosing vocabulary, monitoring your grammar, watching people's faces, all at the same time. Your brain is already working at nearly full capacity.
And then someone puts a spotlight on you and asks a question. And your brain just hits the limit. It can't process fast enough. So it does the only safe thing it can do. It stops.
This is what we call the panic gap. That moment between the question and your answer. That silence that feels like it lasts 10 years, but is usually about 3 seconds.
And 3 seconds of silence in English, under pressure, in a professional or social situation, feels absolutely devastating.
Now here's the good news. You don't need to eliminate the panic gap. You just need to fill it with something intentional, something that sounds calm and professional while your brain is actually working furiously in the background.
We call these thinking time phrases. And the beautiful thing about them is this: native speakers use them too. Native English speakers use them every single day. In boardrooms, in classrooms, in interviews, in dinner conversations.
The difference is that native speakers learned them accidentally over 20 years of using English. You're going to learn 5 of them in the next 20 minutes.
Stay with us until section 3, because at 10:30 we reveal the one phrase that research shows makes speakers sound more authoritative than people who answer immediately. It sounds counterintuitive, but it works every time.
Before we get to the 5 phrases, we need to talk about what most people do in the panic gap. Because what most people do is actually making things worse.
Option 1, the panic filler. This is the uh, um, I, response. Most people think a filler is neutral. It's not. It signals to everyone in the room that you are struggling. And in a professional or social English situation, that signal is hard to recover from.
Now, I want to be fair here. Fillers are not evil. Native speakers use and too. In casual conversation, they're fine. But there's a difference between one calm and a panicked chain of One is a natural pause. The other is broadcasting your anxiety.
Option 2, the frantic silence. This is when you say nothing at all. Just dead air. And the silence itself becomes a communication. It tells the room, this person doesn't know. This person is lost. This person is not confident.
And here's the cruelest part. You probably do know. You just need 5 more seconds to organize your thoughts in English. But the room doesn't know that. All they see is the silence.
I remember after my yes moment in that meeting, my manager came up to me afterwards and said, very kindly, she was a good person. Tom, you can always take a moment before answering. It's fine. And I thought, I know, but I didn't have the phrase. I didn't know how to take the moment without it looking like I had no idea.
That's it exactly. The issue isn't that you need more time. The issue is that you don't have a polite, professional English phrase to claim that time.
Think of it like this. Imagine you're in a restaurant and the waiter asks what you'd like to order. You haven't decided yet. What do you say?
Give me just 1 more minute, please.
Exactly. And the waiter smiles and walks away and comes back in 60 seconds. Nobody thinks less of you. In fact, you probably made a better order because you took the time.
Now imagine that same waiter scenario, but instead of give me 1 more minute, you just stare at the menu in panicked silence for 30 seconds while the waiter watches. Or you say,
Same result. You needed more time. But one version looks confident and polite. The other version looks chaotic.
That is exactly what our 5 thinking time phrases do. They are your English, give me just 1 more minute, please, but for every situation. Work, social, interviews, classrooms, conversations.
Coming up, Lucy is going to tell us about the time she used one of these phrases in a job interview. And the interviewer actually stopped and said, "That was such a thoughtful answer." She bought 20 seconds of thinking time, and they called it thoughtful. That story is at 13:30. Okay, 5 phrases. Let's go through them one by one. For each phrase, I'll give you the English, explain when to use it, and give you a real example.
And I'll give you the tip for using it naturally, because the wrong tone can make even a good phrase sound wrong.
Phrase 1. That's a really interesting question. Let me think about that for a moment.
When to use it. In any situation where you genuinely need thinking time and you want to sound warm and engaged while you think.
Example. Your colleague asks, "What do you think about the new company policy?" You're not sure yet. You say, "That's a really interesting question. Let me think about that for a moment." You pause. 3 seconds of silence that are now filled with intention rather than panic. Then you give your answer.
The tone tip. Say it slowly and warmly, not robotically. The word interesting does the heavy lifting. It tells the other person their question is worth thinking about. That's a compliment. People love that.
Warning. Don't say it to every question. If someone asks, "What time is it?" and you say, "That's a really interesting question," you will look very strange.
Very strange.
Phrase 2. I'm glad you asked that. What I'd say is,
When to use it. When you want to sound confident and prepared, even when you're still formulating your answer.
example. In a presentation, someone asks a question you didn't fully anticipate. You say, "I'm glad you asked that. What I'd say is," and then you speak. Even if you take 2 full seconds after "what I'd say is," that's fine. The phrase has already established confidence.
This is the interview phrase. I used this in a job interview 2 years ago. The interviewer asked me something I wasn't expecting, about a gap in my work history. And instead of freezing, I said, "I'm glad you asked that. What I'd say is, that period actually taught me more about myself than any job I'd ever done." 20 seconds to think. And they called it a thoughtful answer.
The phrase bought you the time.
The phrase bought me the time.
Phrase 3. There are a few ways to look at this. My first thought is,
This one is powerful because it signals complexity and intelligence before you've even answered. You're telling the room, this question has layers. I'm going to address it properly.
when to use it. For opinion questions, strategy questions, or any question where you want to show your thinking from multiple angles.
Example. What do you think we should prioritize this quarter? You say, there are a few ways to look at this. My first thought is, and now you own the next 30 seconds completely.
Even if your first thought takes you 5 seconds to form, nobody is going anywhere. You've set up the expectation of a thoughtful answer. Phrase 4. I want to make sure I give you a proper answer. Give me just 1 second.
This is the most honest of the 5. You're not pretending to already have the answer forming. You're explicitly asking for thinking time, but you're framing it as a gift to the other person. I respect your question so much that I want to answer it well.
When to use it. High-pressure situations where the stakes are real. Interviews, important meetings, conversations where your answer genuinely matters.
Example. Your manager asks about a project status you're not fully sure about. You say, I want to make sure I give you a proper answer. Give me just 1 second. You pause. Nobody is annoyed. In fact, they respect you more.
The research on this is fascinating. Studies in communication show that speakers who pause deliberately before answering are rated as more credible, not less, by listeners. The pause signals that you are taking the question seriously. Phrase 5. That's actually something I've been thinking about. Here's where I land on it.
This is the advanced one. The phrase, "here's where I land on it," is incredibly natural, professional English. It signals that you have considered this topic before, which is always a good thing, and that you're about to share a considered position.
When to use it. Social or professional conversations where you want to sound like a thoughtful, engaged person who reflects on things.
Example. At dinner, someone asks, "What do you think about working from home permanently?" You say, "That's actually something I've been thinking about. Here's where I land on it." You've bought yourself 3 seconds to decide what you actually think, and you sound like the most interesting person at the table.
Coming up, we're going to run through 4 real scenarios where these phrases get tested: work meeting, job interview, a date, and a classroom. You'll hear the panic version and then the calm version. Stay with us.
Okay, Calm Crew, this is where we make it real. 4 scenarios. Tom plays the panicked version first, then I'll play the calm version. You'll feel the difference immediately. Tom, what are your thoughts on the client proposal?
Uh, um, yes, I think it could be, um, good? I mean, yes, I support it.
12 people watching. Credibility? Gone. There are a few ways to look at this. My first thought is that the timeline is ambitious, but if we adjust the delivery schedule, I think it has real potential.
Same opinion, same knowledge, completely different impression. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, um, I want to, I hope to be, growing in my career, hopefully.
Interviewer is already mentally moving to the next candidate. I'm glad you asked that. What I'd say is, in 5 years, I see myself in a role where I can combine my technical skills with leadership, and I'd love for that to be within a company like this one.
Exact same ambition, completely different delivery. At a dinner party, friend asks, "What do you think about the new government policy?"
I. It's. I'm not sure. I don't know enough. It's complicated. Maybe good?
That's actually something I've been thinking about. Here's where I land on it. I think the intention is right, but the execution needs more thought.
You're not a politics expert, but you sound like a thoughtful, intelligent person, which you are. Teacher asks, "Can you summarize what we discussed last week?"
Uh, we talked about, things, some topics. I think vocabulary, maybe?
I want to make sure I give you a proper answer. Give me just 1 second. We covered the 3 main vocabulary strategies: context clues, word families, and active recall.
Your teacher thinks you're one of the best students in the class.
Same person, same knowledge. The phrase changed everything.
Coming up, your weekly challenge. And this one is the most practical we've ever given. You're going to use one of these 5 phrases before the end of this week, in real life. And then come back and tell us what happened.
Okay, Calm Crew. Let's bring it home.
Today we learned why your brain freezes under sudden social pressure and why it's not a language problem. It's the amygdala hijack, and it hits English learners twice as hard because speaking in a second language already uses almost all of your brain's processing power.
We learned why panicked silence and chaotic ums are quietly damaging your credibility, even when you know the answer.
And we gave you 5 thinking time phrases that buy you the seconds your brain needs to catch up. Let's say them one more time together.
Phrase 1. That's a really interesting question. Let me think about that for a moment.
Phrase 2. I'm glad you asked that. What I'd say is,
Phrase 3. There are a few ways to look at this. My first thought is,
Phrase 4. I want to make sure I give you a proper answer. Give me just 1 second.
Phrase 5. That's actually something I've been thinking about. Here's where I land on it.
This week's Com Crew challenge, and listen carefully because this one is important. Pick one phrase from today's 5. Write it on your phone's notes app or a sticky note. Every day this week, when someone asks you a question in English, any question, big or small, use that phrase, just once a day.
And then come back here and comment, I used phrase number and this happened.
We are reading every single comment, every one. And next episode, we are going to read the best story out loud.
Because that's what Calm Crew does. We practice together, we fail together, we get better together.
And here's the thing I want you to carry with you from today. The goal is not to never feel nervous in English. The goal is to have a phrase ready for when you do. Because nervousness is human, but staying silent doesn't have to be.
You are more intelligent than your English makes you sound right now. These phrases close that gap. Use them.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. If you're not subscribed yet, the button is right there, and it's free. Join the Calm Crew.
We'll see you Friday. Take care.
And remember, everyone was watching, but you handled it.
That's the confidence right there.